Hello everyone, and welcome back to D&D with WhatTeamComp. I am your host, the Uncommon Guru, and I'm back together with my Agents of Chaos. We're gonna have a good time again. I am back with Zark, who is playing Aurelius, the human paladin, with Paris, who is playing the Azamar barbarian, with Kendall, who is playing the half-elf artificer wizard, and with Moss, who is playing the human fighter Elizabeth. I did not mention everyone's names. I did. You guys didn't change up where your order was, so I was able to go, okay, I got this shit, I got it.
He's learning.
I'm adapting.
I'm so proud.
Sorry, continue.
You're fine. No, I was very proud of that.
Now to see if he confuses names that start with the same letter still.
Oh, the whole Artemis Aurelius thing is wonderful.
I'm probably going to. Let's be completely honest here. But
you like to mix up Artemis and Elizabeth during fights.
It's
so it's
unfortunate. But
it's okay. We can toss the squishy in there.
Of course. So Artemis takes. Wait, hold on.
Leave Bean out of this.
How did Bean get here? Well, Bean needs to roll a dex save now.
Soft and squishy. No.
Bean is turning into Sprinkle if that happens.
No, leave Bean alone. Bean hasn't done anything.
Yes.
Bean's done everything.
Bean is the BB. Bean is the true BBEG.
No, the betrayal.
Bean's a little piss boy. A little piss boy, aren't you, baby?
It was a nice back.
Anyways,
Okay.
when we last left
I'm
off,
not sorry.
When we last left off, you all had finished with speaking to people in Peking Hill and had some good discussion among yourselves. Introspection and collectiveness, as it were. Then, continuing on your way, knowing that at some point you will need to make a pit stop in Wavebreak, you made your way to the first major city that you've had since Amber, Molten Hold. To paint the scene for you, as you are beginning to approach it, you cannot even see the city at first, but you know that you are approaching somewhere different. There are more different bits of industry around. Windmills lining the streets off to the side, ways off, maybe a mile, 2 miles. But there's a number of them. More than you've seen in any location for the most part. Artemis, you'd be the only exception to this, really. You've seen a lot of places like this before, but not since you left. There's a few places that look like they're traveling carts, places to come back from windmills or other such buildings, come back to the main road and go towards the city, in which case you are actually kind of a little bit swept up in a slight procession of different carts and people. No one fully knows each other. There's a few people who go, oh, hey, and they like acknowledge each other, but no one calls it to each other by name. It's just a group of people making their way. You're one of the few. Shush. You are one of the few people who have Magnavis who are moving about, although there are a few who actually have Magnavis who are riding with people acting as bodyguards for the caravans moving through. People in various ranges of attire, from the more moderate medium armors to lighter, basically just robes. Although they don't all look magical, some of it look like they're people who just picked up a sword, no armor, and just said that they were going to be working as bodyguards. Which, not the safest profession, but at the very least, with this many people, it seems to be working. Then, as one of the dawns approach and you've reached the last day of your journey towards the city. You crest a hill, and you can see it in the distance, and slightly have to shield your eyes a little bit, as the place is like no other city you've seen before. Most cities have a bunch of different elements to it that are recognizable: stone architecture or clay architecture, trees that are woven into various buildings, or vines growing across them, moss that are scattering across the wall. And this does have those elements, but towards the middle point, one of the higher points upon a hill, twisted in a way that doesn't quite catch the light in a way to blind you, but catches the light in a way that makes you know it is there, is a castle that is being built upon, and almost all of it is made of iron. The wall to the south has those elements as well as a few elements to the north that are being built up, clearly giving the presence of this as a major city. In fact, some of the walls to the north are actually a few miles outside of where the border of the current walls actually are, indicating that this city is looking to expand. Usually something that would be discussed with druids or other such. You have noted a lack of people of that nature on your travels, although you don't always see druids as you're going about, so it's not impossible that they have discussed with the city about such expansions. But then again, this is a very rolling hills type area, and you're coming out of bits of forestry that were to the south that are showing the bits of smoke and steam that are coming from this city as you approach it. Entering into the city, they look over the cart, but they don't ask your names, they don't ask your business, they just look over to see if there's anything suspicious, and then they allow you into the city. It is just as jarring within the city as it is without. The banging of hammers is just as you walk in, seems to be almost a resonant sound, banging from one end to the other, and then the other, and then the other, and then the other. Just a constant sound. As you hear the sound of some items being quenched, a hiss that seems to move through the area, leaving the area feeling very humid, very hot. Not overbearingly so yet, but you feel that if you stick around too long in one area, you might get to that point. Every one of you would also note that there's a few areas which look to have people rolling out barrels, and after a bit of time, this one building actually has a bell that a person rings, and some of the people put down different stuff. They kind of come out, and you see them like move over and like full on dunk their head and upper part of their torso into the water, and come out and just let the water splash down their form as the next person comes up and does the same thing, to alleviate the heat that has accumulated in the forges that they're working in, meaning that whatever they're working on is very hot, very intense work. You see blacksmiths, whitesmiths, which is not a term I am making up. They're working with things like tin, making fine, intricate works, little pendants, and even some various types of tin silverware and whatnot that are being. Some are on display, some of it are being called out, but most of this looks to be just the construction area. This is where things are being forged and being created, crafted, and molded. But not a lot that is being sold or that you can discuss or do things with. And for the most part, most people seem to be just kind of effectively telling you to keep moving on, not just for your sake, but for the sake of the animals, as the heat could potentially cause them some amount of duress if they do not move to a cooler part of the city. And eventually, as you make your way out of the forging district, which is again a full district of people just working, forging, and constructing various different implements, you eventually hear it not fade to a full distant thrum, but a ever-present clanging and clattering sound just behind you, almost out of reach, but still very much there, very much present, as you all enter into the main thoroughfare of Molten Hold. The crowds of people move about in very practiced and very knowing their way through various paths. A number of different guardsmen, all of them that you can see that are wearing the guardsman's emblem, are in full plate mail armor, which with the amount of blacksmiths makes sense, but they are full plate regalia. Some of them are standard bearers, where they actually have a flag that is not one of Cormundum's general flags. It is one of what appears to be a hand holding a scepter on a red background.
It'll be like really high quality stuff as well.
Oh yeah, no. As you're looking around, Artemis, you specifically have an idea about some of the quality of the work just from what you've seen and what you've known. It's not just the quality is good; it's also an interesting diversity. Artemis, make me a history check.
Okie dokie. That'll be a 22.
With a 22, you would know that Molten Hold, being this close to Danziel's border, likely has been one of the cities that has actually bounced with the border, meaning that Danziel might claim to it and Cormundum might claim to it, and they've probably fought over who actually holds it, which means that there are quite possibly a few half-elves among this retinue as well, which means that some of this work here that has different insignia and emblems than the dwarvish craft or even the gnomish craft, which you're also noting, as well as a few bits of craft that you do not recognize. Could be because of the different people that have come through and eventually put in residence here and settled down. So, you have made it to Molten Hold.
I'm assuming that
Oh, go ahead.
We should probably find a place to sleep. Or just put up.
I love that right now. Elizabeth looks extremely distracted, by the way.
I'm assuming that
Aurelius.
it's really freaking hot, even when you're not in the forge.
Yes, there are places where it's a bit cooler. You can see, likely just due to the fact that there are people in armor and they're taking that heat stroke into consideration, where you can see that this is actually something that all of you actually will take in a little bit of a note of and kind of be able to recognize. There are you're not certain of their position in the city, if where they would be, like, in terms of like a normal citizen, higher, lower, but there are people who are in certain areas who look to be very clearly concentrating on some kind of arcane magic, and they are making they have like a brazier in front of them, but as they slowly move their hands around it, the brazier of fire is got this almost like this crystalline white coloration to it. And actually, as you would note from being not too close, just kind of close enough to kind of peek at things, when it lets off embers, the embers have the appearance of snow.
Ooh.
Okay. But
Does
yeah,
Artemis look surprised by seeing any of this?
This is incredibly new, based off of the time you've been away. Last you were here, it was like a pit stop, but the industry that has risen up. This is leaps and bounds above what Molten Hold was before. In fact, last you remember, it wasn't called Molten Hold before. I'm giving you that with the history check for before. But
Okay.
with the border changes or whatnot, it's very likely the name's changed a few times.
What name do I remember it as?
You remember it as
Jonathan.
you remember it as Banner Hold.
Okay. Did I remember it as Dandiel or Cormundum?
One second. Cormundum. It appears it has stayed that way, at least so far as you have heard.
are we nearing a place like a tavern that we can get a little situated before doing more looking around?
Of course.
You-
So go ahead, Aurelius. You've been trying to say something.
When, like, as Aurelius sits in the cart, he is very clearly distracted by the arms and armament.
Yeah,
And he, like,
he's a kid in a candy shop.
he's looking at it all, and he's, like, looking at... I'm assuming there's plate mail around, and he's sitting there.
Again, all of the guards who, again, have the emblem that show they are guardsmen. These are people who are guards of the city. All of them are in full plate.
You can see Aurelius really wants plate mail now. It's like, he wishes he could have it. You see him, like, kind of, like, wanting to reach out to touch it, but it's like, no.
Serenity's like snapping her fingers in front of Aurelius's face to like snap him out of it.
What?
Keep in the direction of the tavern. You can be a kid after we get settled.
You're drooling, love.
What?
Not literally before you wipe your mouth.
Hand halfway there.
He slowly puts his hand back on.
You're staring awful hard. Oh, hello, kitty!
Is the kitty
Sorry,
here?
my cat just like jumped up.
I imagine Bean poked their head out and just looked around like,
Woo!
suddenly awake.
You want plate mail as well?
No, darling. It wouldn't do me much good to wear.
What about a little helmet?
I think
Wait,
he's,
what?
He's
I
talking
think
to
about
Bean
Bean
Bean.
Bean.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, Serenity was still probably
Battle
misunderstood.
Bean Bean.
I don't think my familiar needs armor.
What about a little baby solo?
Just hook it to his back.
Actually, I'm gonna roll to see if something's here.
Don't put a little
not
hat
necessarily.
on him.
Are there any tavern places that I would recognize that we could stay at?
There's a place that you remember there being, and it's still here. You remember the innkeeper being nice, a little bit kind of trying too hard to keep things cozy, but well enough meaning. It is a place referred to as the Iron Hand Resting, which shows what appears to be a gauntlet that is on top of a bed.
Okay, is it nearby?
Yes, it is. It's
Alright,
a place you can lead them to quite easily. And again, I'm just going to use the history check you rolled before. You would remember that the person who runs the inn is a halfling woman named Melia. And you are able to easily just kind of guide them over to it and enter the inn.
Because of the mindset Elizabeth is in at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
is there a roll I can do to see if there's any, like, familiar signs of certain people around?
I'd say if you were actively looking for it, I'd say this would be a perception check.
Yeah, she's actively looking at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do something familiar, but just as Aurelius being curious to see if there's anyone of any other guilds he knows of.
Okay. Likewise.
Could I,
Not a thing.
could I roll to see if there's anyone from my order that I might recognize, since they tend to travel
yes,
around?
you all can make perception checks. No worries.
Yay!
Elizabeth
Everyone.
is too stressed about what's on her mind, so.
Understandable.
Wow,
Zark.
that's a sword.
No,
I win.
Serenity is just trying to talk down Aurelius for making an armored bean, and Aurelius is just like, but they have plate mail, and he could be just, it would keep him safe, and he'd be
Adorable.
It would be adorable.
And we
He
can
could have a little shield and a little spear, and he could be our little guardian of the cart.
You have thumbs, Aurelius!
Artemis.
Again, we could strap it to the back.
Yes.
With your perception check, there's quite a bit that has changed. The street layout, surprisingly, does not feel entirely like it has, but you could be wrong because it was quite a bit of time ago. But with seeing the Iron Hand, you're able to just kind of guide these three distracted and lovely individuals over to the inn to help them kind of get prepared and get the cart situated in a way that allows you all to rest the Magnavis and then potentially rest yourselves or go looking through the town. I will say, when you enter the tavern, as soon as you open the doors, there's an immediate lively air of a person playing an instrument, just a jaunty tune, if you will. And there's a few people who are kind of like clapping off to the side, probably near to the like a little stage area, as you see Melia just kind of shaking her head high enough that she would be eye level with most people, which for you means that you know that there's a part to the bar that she is behind that is effectively raised up so that she can walk and talk to people at eye level, despite the fact that she is a halfling.
Elizabeth would with determination walk right over because she needs to get a room and get away from everybody for a bit.
Can I quickly share something adorable that my cat just did? I held my finger out to her to see if she would sniff it, and instead she just set her whole head on top of it.
Aww.
What a bean.
Oh, baby.
But yeah,
What
once
is-
Elizabeth gets a room, she'll turn to the others and go, "If you don't see me in about half an hour, come look for me," and head up to her room.
Are you
don't
alright?
see-
Oh, there she goes.
If I don't see her in half an hour, I'm just going to assume she's hiding from me.
We may need to see if there's a place we can keep the mag.
Not
What
a-
are they?
The Magnavis. I have services for that as well.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Serenity,
Thank
what
you.
if we get the Magnavis a helmet?
They do sell those.
Get Bonkers a helmet.
In Aurelius' defense, Bonkers might need a helmet.
Yeah, Bonkers is the one who notices the danger first, it seems. Every time Bonkers rolls perception, he rolls fucking dummy high, and it's fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah. Artemis is gonna go up and get a room for her and Serenity. Then she'll look over at Aurelius. Do you want me to get you a room as well? Or do you think you can get that?
Aurelius, like, looks at his pocket. Not pocket, purse.
I can get
And
you a room.
Okay.
So precious.
He's still thinking about different armors for the
Of course he is.
fixated
And
now.
how much do 2 rooms cost?
You look. What manner of room are you looking to get? Are you wanting to have the ones that are lower? The ones that are lower tend to have the greatest cooling. The ones higher up are a bit hotter.
Lower, please.
Please, gods.
Elizabeth would have gotten one of the higher ones.
These 2 tend to run a little high.
Understandable.
She looks really looks at Artemis.
Artemis is just gonna look at her and be like, "What? I'm right."
Aurelius just kind of tilts his head. I can't run high.
It's less likely for Aurelius to jump out a window and hurt himself on the lower levels anyways.
We have more comfortable rooms that are upstairs. They'd be 8 silver per room. If you're wanting the ones that are actually cooled, it is more for the higher class, but those are 2 gold a night.
So 8 silver for the...
For you, if you're wanting a modest, you would have probably gotten a 5 silver room.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay. Just make
Alright,
sure I
I will
marked it
take-
off.
Shit.
Aurelius
over
looks at his armor. Gonna get hot, isn't it?
Yes.
You sleep in that.
Some of the folk here are not... They work in shifts, and there are some who tend to work round the clock.
I'm fairly accustomed to heat. I make things as well, but Serenity, did you want a cooled room or did you want a
Please,
Cool.
goodness gracious, give me a cool room.
we'll take a cool room. And
Very well.
Aurelius, did you want a cool room?
You see him kind of like shifting his armor. Like,
Yes, he'll take a cool room too.
That'll be 2 gold per room, as I said.
Okay. Then she'll hand over the 4 gold.
They will take that, and for the lodging of the cart and animals, it's another 2 gold.
I'll pay that.
just so we're aware, Aurelius is helmetless, but he has his hood up.
Mhm.
Wait, no, he gave that to Artemis.
Yeah,
Yep.
you don't even have your cloak now.
Yep. Serenity would have offered him her cloak if he wanted to hide, but
He doesn't want to bug anyone.
wait, what?
Doesn't want to
Really?
bug anyone.
Serenity. Oh, she's gonna just look fondly at Milia because she remembers her, but she doesn't want to bring it up because it's been a while.
Wait. What am I being admonished for? What did I do?
Yeah, no. She's gonna say thank you. And Serenity, there's something I want to talk to you about. Do you mind coming with me to our room?
Well, stuff.
We're just all leaving Aurelius again.
Aurelius, I'll be back in just a few moments if you don't mind staying down here, and then we could potentially see about outfitting Bean Bean.
Or you can get settled in your room, and then we can all meet back down here.
That is very true.
Your rooms are actually on the floor in the back. You're not going upstairs. Otherwise, you will be
Only
warmer.
Elizabeth went upstairs, didn't she?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah, that's where Elizabeth disappeared to. Okay, just making sure I know the layout a bit better.
Or I could look at getting some plate mail.
I think Serenity wants to join you for that, but I need to talk to her for a minute first.
She nods her head at that. I did.
So why don't you get a drink and wait down here while it won't be a very long conversation, I promise.
Do you guys do iced coffee?
She nods and does a little clap, and you see that there's a barmaid who kind of looks over, kind of glances over, and when she comes over, she's like, yes, and she whispers in her ear. She kind of looks confused for a moment, thinks about it, she's like, I haven't thought of that, and goes into the back room. Amelia's just like, that sounds like a very fascinating idea. Where did you come up with that thought?
it's relatively common in the north. You see it in the mines up there.
That would make sense. They have access to a lot of snow and whatnot. We have to use the braziers, but the braziers are quite handy and useful, so I got one of them to allow us to keep the lower facilities cool, as well as to make a few other things. As well as this makes the storage of some of our meat exceptional. I've had meat that just doesn't go bad.
But a brazier was fire!
Artemis is going to go back to their room.
Yes, sure, you'll follow her.
It's right
Just
here.
assume
Yeah.
Just assume Aurelius is talking.
Yeah. She should go back to the room.
Just a second to be right
Yep.
back. I'm being called.
We have Hephaestus in the chat.
Hephaestus!
What?
The man, the legend.
Go do your thing. I want that conversation.
Okay.
Yeah,
Dear
we've all split
Go,
up.
go, go.
Elizabeth's got something. You guys got something. It's
Well,
great.
since she's going to be right back, we'll start with Elizabeth.
Okay.
You did
Well-
Hal first as well.
Okay. As soon as Elizabeth gets to her room,
Mm.
she's gonna lock the door, take off her cloak because of the heat, also put down her heavy crossbow and start fidgeting again with the locket around her neck. As she nervously takes hold of the lanyard, and after a moment of silence just goes, Maxim, do you have a moment? We need to talk.
Yeah. What's up?
So, you know how every time I bring up the old crew, you very nicely offer to talk, kind of poke around for me? And how I keep ominously telling you to be careful? But not telling you why? I think I need to tell you why. If you have them, if you're prepared.
Just a moment of silence, and then. Yeah. I think I'm prepared. Go ahead.
You know, in for a copper, in for a platinum, right? If I were to mention, hypothetically, the group called the Collective, what would your response be?
Another momentary pause. That's certainly a word that seems to have a capital letter to it. You okay? You're not in trouble, are you? You're not in danger, are you?
So you know how bad that group is. This is stupid. Elizabeth just kind of mumbles to herself, hand still on the lanyard, well aware he could hear her say that.
Mm.
Okay, the reason why I have been so worried about you poking into things regarding stuff going on with me is I'm part of the Collective. I think going on 8 years now. I should have told you sooner. I know, but you keep offering, and I keep not saying anything, and it's dangerous, and I know it's dangerous. I barked it, but you just. So that's the part I've been hiding.
Understood.
That's it?
I mean, you got me in the middle of something. Sorry. I'm not fully distracted. I'm paying attention. I'm just... One second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. But yeah, just... Be careful. Well, I'll do things on my end. I'll talk to you later. I gotta take care of some stuff. You'll be okay, right?
It's who I have the meeting with in like a week, 2 weeks.
What meeting?
With? I told you. Oh, I didn't tell you. Shit.
Get fucked!
No, this is so Elizabeth. I love it. I remember last time I talked to you and I was talking funny.
Like a week ago?
Yeah. I might have gotten a calling card of my old crew that if I don't go to a meeting in like Wavebreak or Dragonsby, I'm gonna take a permanent exodus from this place.
There's a little bit more than a moment's pause.
In the silence, Elizabeth has started pacing, worried that he's not gonna speak again.
You're probably on the cusp of just clenching it till your knuckles are almost white, and then you hear, "Okay, all right, whew, all right, yeah, soon meeting, I did not know this. This is good to know. Good information. Do you need me to do something?
I don't know if... I think I have to go alone. They asked for me specifically because people have been asking questions to the wrong people. And they want to get... I was told they want to get a few things straight, and they want to talk to me, and they found me in the small little town of Peking Hill, of all places. So they've probably been tracking me for a while. They've probably been tracking me this entire time that I've been gone. Honestly, they say that every member of the collective is marked, and I don't know what you'd be able to do.
There's another just moment. Then I'll see what I can do. Whatever that may be.
You okay?
Yeah. No, I'm great. I'm fine.
You're not upset about...
No,
thing,
not upset.
right?
No, you're fine.
I was worried to tell you, honestly.
No, just, again, I was in the middle of something. Interesting timing, that's all.
Just so you know, because I don't know what the next time we'll talk. the meeting is gonna be in Wave Break. In like 2.5 weeks. So if after that time you don't hear from me, you know things went bad.
Do you need me to be there?
Honestly, the support would help, but again, I don't know if they wouldn't let a robe around. I'm sorry, they wouldn't let a monk, bard person around.
Oh, so that's what that means. I've been so confused.
You've been called a robe before?
A few times.
Small tangential question. Did that person that called you a robe happen to say they took a liking to you?
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Don't worry. Found out what that means.
Yeah. If you're really offering to be there, I don't know what you'd be able to do. If they saw me with you, they might
That
kill
might
me
be
on.
worse. Yeah, that might be worse.
They might kill me on spot.
Yeah. No, that's...
Unless you're able to, not be in your work attire.
I have casual clothes. I just don't know if I can act casual.
I like how
could.
indignant he sounds.
To be fair, I've only seen you in 2 different kinds of attire. One, you being a bard, and then now monk. So...
Look, I'm a performer, or I'm an enforcer, or I'm just someone you see in the street, and will never remember seeing ever again.
You sound like you're part of the collective. Sorry, that came out to sound like an insult. I'm sorry.
Not insulted. Means I could blend in if I wanted. Maybe. I don't think I'd get a good rap, though. I don't know enough of the words.
You learn them fast. If you don't, you get to have a nice round table discussion to make sure you remember.
I'm guessing by the way you're saying that they don't just spell it out for you very slowly. Got it. Don't fill me in. I'm sure it'll be fine.
All I was gonna say is I've had 3 round table discussions, and it's equal to what happened to my arm. So, yeah.
Is that so?
Yeah. I was new. I was learning still. I messed up a job. At least I think I did.
Look. Breathe. I'll
I'm
handle
nervous,
things
Maxim, okay?
I'll deal with things on my end. You just don't get hurt. Actually, no, that's a terrible thing to ask. You're the sort of person who would get hurt. Don't get yourself in too much trouble. You're probably in a lot of trouble. Don't get yourself into more trouble then.
I think I'm the first member of the collective to last this long after running. So, Each day I'm still here is a surprise.
Well, happy one at that.
One last thing before I let you get back to whatever you were doing. I've only given you nicknames to look out for, but never what they look like. And there's hesitancy in her voice because this is something that got drilled into her.
And during the pause, Maxim just kind of just exhales slowly, and you can kind of hear that as, you know, a precursor of saying something.
Do you want to go first?
Leave your collective stuff for the moment. If I suddenly start being able to recognize stuff offhand, I'm either going to be part of it or I'm going to be noticeably seeing things I shouldn't.
I wasn't gonna give you full descriptions because that would make you way too obvious anyways.
Yes, don't worry about that. Just try not to get into more trouble with them. You seem to wander into trouble, so I'm not going to say don't get in trouble. Just make sure you get out of trouble, okay?
You never did decide if you would actually be there at Wavebreak or not.
I don't want to jeopardize you. I can meet you. Where are you heading after Wavebreak?
I think we're heading towards Dragonsby. I
can meet you there.
Okay.
That way, I mean, if I hear from you, just let me know you're on your way. Oh my god.
You sure you're okay?
I'm peachy.
Did I literally message you like in the middle of a fight or something?
Maybe. Maybe more post-fight, but you know.
I take it you won.
Winning. Yeah.
You're still fighting?
Don't worry about it. I'm fine.
I'll let you get back to work.
Yep.
You may hear from me again before Wavebreak. I don't know.
Good. I'd like to hear from you before then.
I think they might be aware of you if they know where I am.
If they're aware of me, that just means that they can take a liking to me.
Have you seen any black roses around lately?
Oh, is that important too? Oh, yeah, that makes more sense.
Did you get a black rose?
No. I saw someone have one though, and they looked at it like it was something important.
That's one way to put it. For a collective member who's on the run, that's a death sentence. Wait, where did you see the black rose?
Don't worry about it. I'm working on something. I'll get back to you.
I only ask because the one I got, yes, that's how I knew about the meeting. I got a black rose. They said it passed through multiple hands, and I'm just curious how far removed from Peking Hill it was.
I mean, I'm in grandstanding right now.
You're in grandstanding?
So, I'd say that's a pretty good ways away.
Were you headed to Silver Crossing?
Oh
crap, that's right. You said you'd look into that stuff for me.
I did say that, yeah.
Oh shit. Oh,
God. I'm sure it'll be fine. Hold on a second.
Why are you still talking? If you're working, I could just say goodbye, Maxim.
Oh, mostly because you haven't said goodbye yet.
Because you keep letting me talk.
I mean, it's nice hearing you talk. You know, hearing you ramble is just kind of like, you know, one of those things I just kind of pause and I listen to. It's great.
You've never said that before.
I might have said too much. I'll message you. I'll message you later. Maybe in like a few days. Make sure you're okay and whatnot.
Wait, you
eat 3 meals a day. Drink lots of water. Don't drink seawater. I don't know if you've ever done that before. Don't do it. It's bad for you.
I live near the Cracked Islands.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure. I'll talk to you later. And you hear a distinct whack.
Once the conversation is over, she'll let go of the lanyard, and she is shaking. She is terrified, and it is gotten to the point where even talking to Maxim didn't calm her down. And is there a polished surface?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not a mirror though. It's one of the as you look at it, you actually realize it is a disc of polished iron.
Okay. She goes over to look at it herself in the polished iron, and she is visibly shaking and trying desperately to calm herself down. And the moment she sees a tear come down her cheek from her worry, I don't know if anybody would hear it, but she slapped herself across the face.
Before you do that, roll me a d20.
A d20. Okay.
Yep.
Roll to hit.
Roll to hit myself.
No.
roll for
Why did I roll 2? I'm so sorry. I'm gonna cancel that and not send you that. I am so sorry.
Just send me the 1.
Hey, Moss, tell Paris I'm right.
Kendall, no, that's not fair.
Tell
I
them
saw
I'm
that,
right.
Paris, and Serenity was the one that said love. Elizabeth never said love.
You stay out of this. This doesn't involve you.
This does.
This involves your character. Get over there.
It was a 20.
Kendall.
As you see the tear, and you're getting ready to slap yourself, there's this... I wouldn't call it a tension. As much as there's like, almost like a... it's not a relief. It's like something's like taken a hold of the tension and kind of bungee corded it a little bit, stretched it thin, so that as you're getting ready to slap yourself, all of a sudden the tension kind of goes slack, and you're like, you almost not collapse so much as you kind of just like slouch forward slightly, and kind of let out this exhalation of just a bit of exhaustion, a little bit tired all of a sudden, and you're just kind of almost as though something, again, it was like a sudden pull of the tension, and you don't feel the strength to even hit yourself fully. You can still do it, obviously. No one's going to stop you. It's just kind of a moment of just having that tension go away for just a second, for a moment.
That'll confuse the hell out of her.
The confusion helps to prevent the tension from building back up immediately. How much that builds up, I'll leave that to you.
Well, she'll have to gather herself up again to look at herself in the mirror. Wipe at the tears this time. Her main goal right now is to calm herself to the point where the others wouldn't know something is wrong.
There's a water basin. The water's mildly warm, it is still a summer sort of day. Where
And she did get one of the modest rooms. So.
Yeah, it's not unpleasantly warm. It's just like you could drink it. It's like tap water, like at a medium setting.
Well, then she'll splash her face a few times, look at her face one more time in the mirror, and go, "You got this, okay? You got... Ah, shit. Fuck it. They were gonna find out sooner or later." And just leave the room and head downstairs.
All right. Meanwhile, with Artemis and Serenity, you two went off to your room. It's as you're going through the hallway, you note that at the end of the hallway, there's another person who is working with the white flame brazier. But again, as you're getting like closer to it, you feel a chill radiating off of it, not warmth.
Pretty kind of like tilts her head, but very quietly goes, "Notes for later."
Artemis is gonna look curious and kind of, what does the person doing that look like?
The best way I can describe it is it's a mixture between tending the flame and, you know, when you like take a finger and you like do circles on a cup?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're doing that but on the brazier.
Kind of tilts her head to the side.
You do know that as they do that, every now and then as they do it, there's like little runes that seem to kind of flicker and like almost like follow their fingers with lighting up and then dimming.
God, so she's so curious, but she's also got a thought, so she needs to share it with Serenity first before she asks.
Of course, before you get to other stuff. Yep. So you can enter your room, easy enough. It's got a very cushiony bed, nice, well-made blankets. Like this looks like something that would almost be seen almost more in a noble house. A couple dressers, an actual glass mirror.
Oh.
And once the door is closed, Artemis is gonna look over at her and is like, "So you remember how we were sort of experimenting with the demon man that lives in your brain?"
Yes.
So I had a thought. And she's gonna kind of pull her hood down a little bit and very hesitantly and delicately take off one of her clocks. Hold out your hand.
She'll hold out her hand.
She's gonna very gently place one of the clocks that she always wears in the palm of your hand and let it go. And watch your reaction intently.
Does Evictus react?
Not immediately. Except for a faint... Huh.
What?
Give me a moment.
What?
Give me a moment.
Okay.
Huh. Fascinating. That does take me back.
Oh.
Yeah, just something from before, well before you, and well before maybe even her.
Would you like to enlighten me?
It's means one of Avina's disciplines or disciples or whatever you fucking call them, proteges.
Disciple.
Disciple. Look, She called them a lot of different things, but
They're like disciples, but they die a lot.
Good lord.
yeah. But Miss Windjaw was a collector of different methods of fiddling with things, making the most of one's life and afterlife.
Okay, so did he say Miss Windjaw?
Yeah.
Or Wimjaw?
Windjaw.
Okay.
Avina was very
Okay. I was close.
I wouldn't call her pragmatic. She was more she had a way she wanted to do things, and she followed that way. And she made a few trinkets like this to hold things. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened to her. Last I heard, she was almost godlike with how much power she'd gotten, and then someone walked inside of her, slapped the shit out of her, and I haven't heard from her since.
So, was she a friend of yours, or just someone you knew?
I was a compatriot. Halo was a tumultuous time at the time. Not every day you get to hear that someone has actually asked for the secrets of how to bury a city.
So you were fascinated by her?
Some of my higher ups got to work more intimately with her, teaching her one of the secrets. They would have used someone like this in this clock to power some of the magic that they had in the city. Granted, not in this form. They'd have just strapped him to a chair. This is like high level stuff. This is like intimately more powerful.
Interesting.
Which means you owe me something.
Such as?
I'll let you know. Information isn't free. You think I just gave that away? No, I get something later.
Here, how's this for your payment? I stopped touching Aurelius to torture you.
Oh, who said it was torture? It's disgust.
Oh, then that means that I can keep touching Aurelius if it's not so horrible for you.
Correct.
Oh, it's thundering. Oh, how pleasant.
It wasn't looking like rain. It might be raining. I couldn't see. I wasn't paying attention. I was thinking.
You never pay attention.
I pay attention. Just depends on when and to what. I pay attention to things that are very important. Things you might miss.
That's just related. Serenity will share the information about the watch to Artemis.
Would I know who Avina is?
To answer that question, I need to verify something. How old are you?
87.
I'd say the best you would get would be rumors, and that would be with a history check with disadvantage.
Okay, I'll roll.
This is much older than you.
That'll be a 10.
With a 10, you've heard of what was referred to as the breaking of the Windjaw, which people would use as a play on words, as almost a roundabout way of saying almost like someone being on their high horse to break. They'll break your wind jaw, is to say that you are going to knock them off their high horse and knock you into obscurity. Because everyone has heard about the phrase, but they don't know who the Windjaw were. At least not that you remember. At least no one who could give you a straight answer.
Moss will nod and she'll just delicately take the cloth back and put it back on. Thank you, demon. And she'll press a light kiss to Serenity's cheek.
Oh, you're being all mushy.
Was the kiss from me or the demon?
No, that's for you. The thank you is for the demon.
Her eyes kind of like squint with her smile. Before she leans down to give her an actual kiss. I much prefer those.
Don't worry, you'll get all of them. Though I do believe you have a date with Aurelius.
Oh, I'm going to spend so much money just dressing up Bean Bean.
I'm sure you will have no regrets.
Would you like to come with us, Lamb? I would certainly enjoy your company.
I understand, I don't think I'm going to do too much wandering in this city.
Trying to stay hidden.
Yes. But you're welcome to have fun.
She'll put her forehead to hers. I'll bring you back something.
I will appreciate that. I always enjoy your surprises.
She'll give her one more kiss before she heads out the room.
Alright. So you come out of the room. Elizabeth comes down the stairs, and Aurelius is talking about iced coffee.
Yeah. Artemis probably comes down to like drink at the down there, but she's just probably not going to go out too much.
Elizabeth would take a seat next to Artemis.
You more or less overhear Aurelius talking about how it initially just started as it was an accident. Someone left their coffee out in the open, and it started snowing, and it just fell into the coffee, and it got cold, and he didn't have any more coffee lying about, so he just decided to drink it, and it was fine. And then he, one day when he went to the mines, and everyone was complaining about how hot it was, he was the smug guy with the iced coffee.
You visibly watch Elizabeth full-on facepalm where she's sitting next to Artemis.
Artemis is just giggling into whatever she's drinking.
It's already snickering, yeah.
It's not like an eating alcoholic right now, but she's just snickering into her cup.
And Elizabeth, with everyone around, just kind of goes, "We made the mistake of leaving him alone. That was a problem."
Her head perks up immediately.
Aurelius turns slowly.
I'd hardly call this a problem. If anything, it might actually raise my own industry.
What?
No. The problem is that we left him to his own devices.
I'd like to try it.
Actually, you know what? That sounds rather good right now. I'm feeling surprisingly tired.
Elizabeth?
What can I do for you, Serenity?
I'm trying so desperately to hold it in. Okay.
Artemis is not even acknowledging it. 2 iced coffees, please.
Yes.
Aurelius is trying to pin the accent.
She kind of moves her finger in a circle to gesture to just Elizabeth as a whole.
Don't you two have to go get some armor?
And pointing to me like that ain't gonna make it easier for me to know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, I was going to ask a question, but then someone tried to usher me out the tavern.
Oh, you can ask whatever question you want.
The
Doesn't mean I'll
accent.
answer. Oh, the accent, yeah. Surprise, I guess? This is the real me?
Somehow this is more befitting, but yet I suddenly have the weird thought that you are now more likely to spit on me.
I ain't gonna give explanation as to why I sound like this, because when I was born I didn't sound like this. My parents don't sound like this. That's not where this came from.
To be fair, you pick up accents from environments, not from birth, so...
Yeah, when you spend a good deal of time around some certain people, this is the voice that comes.
She'll pat her back.
Aurelius is thinking about... Aurelius is thinking about some of the stories that bards have told him. It's like whenever it's an accent of a place that isn't local, they'll just go, "Hey, I'm a northern man."
Oh, good lord.
And he's just sitting there and he looks over and is like, "What accent is that?" You see his brain breaking.
I guarantee you would never be able to figure it out. And I ain't gonna tell you easily, so there you go.
We're gonna have to get a very
Southern.
drunk.
No, this ain't Southern. Yeah, I do come from Corvin, but again, this is not an accent that all of people in Corvin have.
Western.
Northern.
Eastern?
You guys, it's not a regional accent.
What?
She kind of leans in closer so she can say this quietly. Thieves.
Close, but no cigar.
What's a cigar?
I haven't had a cigar in ages. Oof.
Is there coffee here?
It's brought out.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure it's the same Elizabeth, regardless of the accent. So, she gives a quick kiss to Artemis.
She gives Paris a smile. And Paris. Paris is just now in the scene.
Hello.
She gives Serenity a smile, and with not even having to do a perception check or anything on her, there is visible tension in her grin and in her eyes. Have fun, you two.
I'll pat Elizabeth on the back. Don't worry, that won't scare me off. The accent, I mean.
I don't know, the accent's fairly disturbing. Just
It's
gives
not really
Elizabeth
Artemis!
It is, she gives Elizabeth a teasing grin.
Actually, where I'm from, when people talk like this, you knew you was in trouble, so you know Artemis ain't wrong.
Aurelius is just sitting there and he's just like, when people talked like that to me, they were making jokes.
Are you sure of that?
I'm pretty sure there were a lot of bards.
Oh, they were flirting with you.
What?
Come on, Aurelius. Somebody's starting to
I'll explain it later, Aurelius. Go do your shopping and make a battle bean.
You hear this little scraping sound as he's being pulled out.
Before we break the man's brain.
Yeah, Artemis is gonna just, once they leave, she's gonna glance over at Elizabeth. And this has something to do with your previous employment, doesn't it?
Yep.
Okay. She could take a sip of the coffee. This is actually pretty good.
As Elizabeth takes a sip of hers, she's not hiding it. Her hand goes under her scarf to start fidgeting with the locket again.
Do you mind if I see that?
You think you're gonna learn anything more than you did before?
I've been studying.
Worth a shot, I guess. She puts down her iced coffee and takes off her locket to hand to Artemis. What role was it again, Comp?
I think it was Tinkerer's Tools?
No, it's open.
Oh,
You're opening it?
No, she's taking it off and handing it to Artemis.
Oh wait, never mind. I have to go buy a pearl first.
Ah.
Yeah, identify. I think it's 50 gold pieces.
100 gold pieces.
Okay.
And an owl feather.
I'll pick that up for you. Don't worry.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Well, she'll still have taken it off and kind of looked at it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can do it. I can do an Arcana check on it again.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, she'll hand it over. And like I said,
Cool, that's 20.
Does Elizabeth have to make a check for letting go of the locket?
Not at the moment.
Well, that's ominous. Okay.
Looking over the locket, I'm presuming you're not opening it.
No.
Didn't think so. Looking it over, there's a number of glyphs that you recognize. It's, again, exceptionally complex. The main thing that you're noticing is that amongst them there's a few glyphs that appear to be, if not fully repeating, then repeating every now and then, of abjuration make. There is a bit of conjuration, but it looks to be weird. You're not sure if you would say it's just drawn a little off, drawn maybe backwards, or there's just something off about the way that they've drawn their conjuration. Not sure exactly what it is, but you do note it.
You probably shouldn't be wearing this.
I'd feel
But
weird
she's
if
still
I
in
wasn't. At this point, I feel weird if I don't have it on, so. Elizabeth puts it back on, and again, like a fidget toy, is underneath her scarf fidgeting with the locket.
It's got quite a few protective sigils on it.
Well,
Whatever that eye that's in it. It's quite
Us-
dangerous.
Yeah, but I feel that it's less likely to be taken if I have it around my neck. So,
I feel like you know too many good pickpockets to make that assumption.
I was one of them when I started.
So you know better than to make that assumption.
I know the signs was what to look for. That's why it's under the scarf. You don't show your valuables on the outside. And any purse that's on the side, somebody's gonna know that there's something of value in there, so don't put it there either.
That's why you have one there, and then you don't have anything valuable on the inside. It's a good distraction.
Yep.
Takes
You
me
know
a
more
while.
about it than you let on.
I've been on the run for a while. You would know about that.
Unfortunately, though, it looks like my past is catching up to me. I hope yours isn't.
We're very, very close to the border. I imagine it'd be very difficult if I didn't run into parts of it. She'll glance up when she sees Malia again. Give a little wave. How are you doing, Malia?
Not too bad. Business has been picking up. Been able to actually expand a little bit.
Really? Where are you expanding to?
No, the actual building, actually.
Ah!
Which some might say that's a grand improvement, but honestly, it's the littlest bit that one can state as it is, especially with the Lord's improvements. Goodness, he's had us growing at such an exponential rate. I'd honestly be surprised if we weren't able to expand even further within the next few years alone.
The Lord?
Yes. Apparently, I'm not sure what happened, honestly, but I'm not sure what exactly they found, but it has allowed for the sudden influx of iron to be at our fingertips, as it were. as we're in the hills, and as far as I'm aware, there's not quite so many deposits of iron for us to normally collect, but now we have it in abundance.
I could tell. That wall wasn't here last I was here.
No, that's growing quite rapidly as well, and that's not including the new ballistas.
Ballistas?
Yes, they are apparently very large, is what I've heard people describe them as.
Well, I imagine the city wouldn't need them. Seems that this place has expanded quite a bit. And the roads are very, different. Is that because of the iron?
It is indeed.
Iron in the roads. Hadn't thought of that before.
It's thankfully only a smattering of it, but they're using it to allow for some manner of improvement, as it were.
Do you think it's an improvement?
We've had more people being able to come and go. The guard are well outfitted and equipped, and it almost feels like they've become more structured. Last many people were here, they've discussed how it was... The guards were much more, I wouldn't call them lackadaisical, but they were unstructured. Some were very ornery, or very much people who would end up causing more trouble or mischief. And
So they've become more of a military.
as they should be. They should be more disciplined, and now they are.
Of course. So what would you recommend around here? I've been here before, but it looks like there's been quite a bit of new things added.
Well, the kind of motion to the iced coffee. This is the newest thing. She winks at you.
At that point, Elizabeth is downing the last of it during this whole conversation. Surprisingly, doesn't help with the tired.
I think you have a different kind of tired.
Probably. Unfortunately.
That one takes a little while to fade. But, outside of this, what would you recommend around town?
Depends on what you're looking for, dear. If you're looking for food, our industry of food is beginning to pick up a bit, at least. But we're a place where you can get outfitted with at least a few things. Armor-wise and specifics. Most places don't have near enough metal to do that, but we've just seemed to have it in abundance. We're able to sell it and continue growing. It's a marvel.
Do you have any shops that sell, gonna kind of purse her lips for a second, thoughtfully, curios?
Sell what?
Curios, like little trinkets or...
Curiosities?
Curious. Yeah, curious things.
I imagine that there's a place like that around town. Things to enchant friends in other areas and the like, yes.
Yes, just like that.
There's certainly places like that.
Do you have any you would recommend?
Look for the Iron Leaf. Not a larger place, but good people.
I will definitely pay them a visit.
If you're going anytime soon, you want company?
I'd like that. I feel like we have a couple of things to talk about.
Yeah. Lead the way when you're ready. I'm here.
She's gonna down the rest of her coffee and sit down. This is quite good. Thank you.
Yeah,
Glad you enjoy.
thank you again.
Alright, shall we, Elizabeth?
Lead the way, Artemis. Or, sorry, Adi.
Thank you.
Hey,
gonna
at
give
least I
another.
remembered.
Yeah. She's gonna pull her scarf back up again and adjust it and give a little wave to Amelia before walking out.
Elizabeth will follow.
All right. Serenity and Aurelius. Did you guys already head out, or were you heading out separately?
I'm heading out with him, so.
I mean, separately from these two is what I'm asking.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
At least that's what I thought the plan was.
That's what it sounded like. That's why I'm double checking.
I mean, it's
You
hard to stay with the group when you're being dragged out.
I mean, yeah, I wanted to double check.
Oh, you're almost as strong as me. You could fight it.
But he's not. He's still thinking about it.
I like how this is how we can take advantage of Aurelius, just make him think really hard about a subject, and he won't realize if he's being dragged away.
Just have Elizabeth confuse him again. It's fine.
No, he's very aware. He just doesn't care.
I'm gonna grab Bonkers out of the stable.
Bonkers is just happy to be out of the stable.
Hi, Bonkers. Hi, my precious baby.
Aurelius kind of instinctively reaches for his hood, and then remembers he doesn't have his cloak.
Would you like to borrow my cloak for a bit?
I can just get another one.
Yes, but this way you don't have to get another one.
But I could get another one.
But this way you don't have to.
But it's yours.
And I hardly use it. You toss her cloak to him.
Aurelius kind of like reluctantly puts it on.
Though I will say, it'd be such a shame to hide such a handsome face.
Aurelius pulls the hood up. It's not... He kind of thinks about how he wants to phrase it. It's not the face that needs hiding, it's what's on the face.
I believe what's on your face is your face.
Aurelius kind of like narrows his eyes.
Just smiles.
So if a person has a beard upon their face, is that still a part of their face, or is that a separate entity?
It's part of their face.
Okay.
A separate entity? I'm sorry.
The beard is alive!
It's alive. His name is Joe.
Separate. Okay, but if
Fucking
that...
Moss is gonna fucking die!
I can't with you guys. I'm sorry.
But if that beard connects to the head, like the hair on their head, is that still a part of their face?
Well, the beard is on the front of the face. So that, along with sideburns, is part of the face. It's hair, but it is hair that is part of the face.
So are you saying that the hair on my head is also part of my face?
No, because it's not at the front of your head.
But one could argue that they are both part of the same single component, the hair.
And one could argue that they are not, because it is on the front of your face. So it is part of your face.
So if I were to put paint on my face, would that be part of my face?
No, because that's not naturally grown.
So you're saying that that which is naturally part of a face is the face, correct?
That which is on your face, what is not organic, or is not a scar of some sort, is not part of your face.
And now you see why I pull my hood up. This is not natural.
Isn't it scarring?
No.
And what do you call it exactly?
A curse.
I still think that it makes you look just as fine.
Tell that to any paladin we come across.
I mean, I'm telling it to a paladin right now.
I am not a paladin.
She's gonna tilt her head. Aren't you?
I left the order.
That doesn't mean you're not a paladin. That just means you're a paladin without an order.
Legally speaking, I am not a paladin.
When are we talking about legal issues here?
At
You're
this
not
point,
getting into legal.
you can kind of tell Aurelius is just trying to get reactions at this point.
You should not get into legal issues when regarding this group. That's too far, but that's too deep of a lake to walk into. She looks very amused.
Yeah, well, what's the point of knowing the laws if you can't manipulate them to your advantage?
Bend, break, snap, manipulate. Very saw this. By that logic, shouldn't I still call you a paladin then?
By that logic, I am simply a wandering swordsman.
Fair enough. That's not a point she can refute. I imagine we've been walking through this entire conversation.
I imagined you were.
No, we were standing in the middle of the square, like two friends meeting in the middle of like Times Square on like the crossroads, and everyone's trying to get around us. No.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Aurelius is specifically looking out for plate mail armor that is adjustable. And again, with that level of mobility he still requires. Along with and this is like a very much optional thing. Instead of having to worry about having a cloak on top of the armor, just having the hood built into the armor.
So you're gonna have it built into the armor?
When I say built in, I mean like it's easy to modify.
Got it.
Yeah, because like an armor set's bound to have a helm over a hood, but you know if you're traveling, a helm gets far more uncomfortable than a hood does. So
right. Roll me a perception check.
For assistance?
What's your perception modifier?
The same as his.
What's your perception modifier?
+2.
Okay. Roll and add +2.
I've already
No, stop taking my advantage from all the things I can do.
This is helping him.
It doesn't matter. I rolled a nat 20 anyway.
So that's
I know,
24.
but Don takes advantage from so much stuff, dude.
I'm trying to ensure that advantage remains special, but it's also meaning that if someone else gave him advantage or he gave himself advantage, that you're still able to assist.
The only thing that gives advantage so far in your campaigns that I can think of now is like the kobold drawer or aim.
Enhance ability.
That's such a specific spell, though. I'll talk to you after session about this.
After session, yeah.
But yeah. And another thing that's up. I mean, he can always just paint it. Never mind. I was like, specific color scheme. And I'm like.
You might want to have a professional do that just because I don't think you have artist tools proficiency.
I know, but
With a natural 20, with a 24, you look around and you note that there's like a lot of different places that are selling other things, and the first shop that you see is called Kling and Klang's Coterie.
love it.
Clink and Klang's Coterie. As you approach, you see that it does have a number of different styles and sets of armor to it, ranging from even studded leathers to plate mail. For different sizes, too, from short to medium to big, medium.
Medium, but the chest is slightly smaller.
Yeah. A lot of different mediums.
Medium, but the boots are like 2 times the size of the hands. That one's for a Goliath.
Of course. And then there's medium with clown shoes.
That's my favorite one.
That's for the original Kingdom Hearts characters.
Yeah,
For the hobgoblins.
That one's for Jonathan.
All right. You see, behind the counter, is a burly dwarf with a very interwoven beard. Has a number of like bits to it that look like they're like iron tassels, kind of woven through it, as well as like their hair pulled back again with the weave of iron bits, just like breaking up parts of it into like almost braids. And next to them is a dwarf, you'd say probably a dwarf woman, because the state of their beard is like to their neck at most, whereas the man's next to them is down almost to like just past their waist. But their hair on their head is actually pulled up in a way that, from the way that it's kind of pinned together, their hair on their head probably goes beyond their waist as well, in the other way. When they look to you and they both talk over each other at first, and then they turn and they kind of like shove at each other as they like push against each other. You get the sense that this is more of a sibling rivalry than a married couple. Before finally, actually, which one of them wins? The male kind of puts the other into like a headlock, and she's like, "Welcome to Clink and Clangs. How can I be of assistance?" Pushes off him. I could be of assistance as well. How could I be of assistance?
Which one's Clink and which one's Clank?
He's Clink, I'm Clank. I'm Clink, she's Clank.
You're
Did you just
Ratchet
say-
and he's Clank?
Who's Ratchet? Are you talking about a
So
cousin?
like Wait, what?
Are you talking about a
Are you
cousin?
talking?
You met a cousin? How's he doing?
I don't know.
Probably getting mischief again. So, how can we help?
Aurelius, he's looking around, because of course he is. And basically he more or less recites my epic poem of the armament that I want.
You would like plate armor, but without a helm, but is modified to have a hood that you can easily throw over it. Maybe with a half cape, but not a full cape.
Maybe if I want to do cloak and not cloak and dagger, sword and cloak combat, but I won't because I don't know that type of swordsmanship.
As one would expect.
Yeah.
They just nod and are like, yes.
Yeah.
And as you're saying this, they both like nod, walk forward, and then they start like circling you. I'd say it's about a 17. I'd say it's about a 22. I think you're wrong. I know I'm right. Now we'll see. And they kind of waddle away.
Well then.
This is. I want to say this is uncommon, but I know it's not uncommon.
They drag back 2 sets of armor. One of it is a bit like tighter around the where the neck would be, with a few extra armor pieces. But with those pieces, you can see they're actually designed to kind of lock in to allow for you to like unlock or lock in, whether you want to have a cape, a hood, or other, like even just a cloak can be kind of like locked into place with it. Or even you can have the it like set over top of the cloak so that you just have the armor pieces over the cloak, like the shoulder pads. The other one is a bit more streamlined, less bulky around the shoulders or the chest, with a bit more flair to like the legs and the hips, for adding extra like pouches and the like.
Okay. As Aurelius is looking at these pieces of armor, it becomes clear he's not looking for the style. He's looking at the practicality of it.
I just me voicing to you. The first one is appearance, showy. The other one has like places where you can like slip items into. It has a bit more practical use.
Aurelius internally compares the second pair of armor to the Man of Bat's armor.
The second one would possibly fit more into that mental image that you have painted and repainted for yourself and repainted again because you weren't sure if that was painted right.
Yeah. And then he paints it again, like imagining it in the color scheme that he normally goes for. And he likes that paint. So he gestures to it and he goes, This one will do. How much is it?
I told you, the 22. 17 would still work fine. Honestly, with how much we've been able to actually get around, we've actually been able to cut back on some of the prices, which is actually why people keep coming to us, because we are selling them much more affordably than... What was the price over in Silver Crossing? I heard it was at 2,000. Amateurs. We can sell ours for 900. Gold.
Gold. Not me. Looking at
Money.
the gold I have. I have 230. That's not gonna do it. Wait, did I sell my chainmail at the other place?
How much is it?
900 gold. Plate mail is still expensive, but 900 is also cutting the normal price of 1,800 for just standard plate mail in half, which says a lot when they're able to make enough plate mail fast enough to cut the price in half and still technically be making revenue. Well, technically, no, absolutely making revenue.
Did I sell the chainmail somewhere else?
Is it on your inventory?
It's on my inventory, but I'm not sure if I sold it or not.
You might have.
I might have talked about it.
Very possible. In which case, you might have just been lugging it around like, I forgot to sell this. Oops.
Whoops.
Also, is your mic okay?
No,
What's
what's happening is I move away from my microphone.
I was still checking. You just sounded far away. I'm like, is that microphone problem or just lean back?
That's me leaning to the side.
You're good, man. No worries. Yep.
He did sell his chainmail.
All right.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Confirmation.
In that case, Aurelius might want to look for some work and come back.
Mm-hmm.
He does not have the gold for that right now.
Pretty will kind of peek up. Is there anything that we might be able to do that might help you lower the price of that? Well, apparently free, as far as I know, with nothing to do, and I would argue that we are useful in some walks of life.
They look to each other, look back to you, and they walk over and start circling you, looking you over for a moment. Then they kind of step back to the side and they think for a moment. Mayhaps, perhaps, but not us. No, certainly not. We're selling things. We don't have work. However, we do know people who might have work for you, or at least who can point you in the right direction. The great the great Fergus, the instructor of the guard, has been trying to contract out people to try and contract in new guardsmen, but he might have the most knowledge of where to send people who are looking for work with your particular armaments.
All right. I appreciate it very much. As for what I'm after, I'm assuming you don't deal in barding for animals.
Barding for animals. No, I believe that's over at Bart's.
Arts is what
Bard.
you said?
Their name is Bard.
Okay. I appreciate the directions.
Of course. You just go across the street and stay on that side and go down, what was 5? 6. 5 buildings. I said 6. Can't miss it.
Between 5 and 6.
It's called the Leaden Horse. We have a very particular iron theme, in case you haven't noticed. Don't call it out to people. We will roll our eyes at you and go, yes, yes, we know. We didn't have the gemstones in the area. We're sorry. Kind of winks at you like, we're in on the joke, but, you know, grows old.
He gives a very formal bow.
Aurelius is not as formal. He kind of, like, from his own memories within the guild, he does just a little dwarven gesture, then heads off.
The dwarven gesture seems to kind of like make them pause, and they return the dwarven gesture and look like a little taken aback and that was so respectful.
He doesn't know dwarvish stuff well enough.
I know,
He doesn't speak dwarvish, but
he knows a few things.
He knows etiquette.
Yes. Across the street at Bard's, Bard turns out to be a gnome who is working on... Hold on. Are they working on the thing? They're working on the thing. As you walk in, they're making the finishing touches on something. And they're working on something that looks to be small, as far as you can tell. And after a moment, they put their hands on hips like, all right, I think you're good to go, friend. Off with you now. And you see a plate armor squirrel.
Ooh, how sweet.
Climb.
Hello there, little one.
It climbs up the wall and like gets to a point, and You can tell that it's been clearly structured for a creature of this size, as Aurelius, you in specifics would know. A creature of that size in full plate mail should not be moving around this light or this free, which means that this armor would have to be probably more for aesthetic look than for function, meaning that this is more effectively like putting a toy on a squirrel, letting it run around. Although the squirrel looks to be like acting as though it were mimicking the guards, like standing up at an attention, like a knight of the god, but it's a squirrel.
Yeah.
It's very adorable.
Aurelius is just happy to bear witness to it.
Oh,
Hello
customers!
there.
I kind of pauses, peeks out. Is that a Magnovis? I imagine you're either here for that, or you're here for some other creature that you haven't brought in yet, or shown to me, or otherwise.
That is quite accurate, yes, actually.
Well, out with it then.
I was hoping that you might have a way of outfitting my little friend here with something, any kind of barding, really.
You pull out Bean.
Yes, little bean.
They look at it as like, hold out a hand, and they take little Bean, and they kind of like inspect Bean, and Bean is just the most squirmy little shit. just kind of doing the fairy little like flailing around a little bit, but Bard seems to just like take it all in stride, just like yep, I thank you, you're very helpful. Yep, like holds it upside down by its tail as it's like then grabs it, picks it back up. It's like leathers, I would presume, if you're going into actual combats, or you're just looking to have like a cute little helmet.
I was thinking more just a cute little helmet for him.
A cute little helmet, it's not going to be too much. I can get one made out of like tin. It has a little chin strap. Well, it goes under the jaw, but still allows it full freedom of movement without actually causing it any harm or discomfort. It is still made of metal, so it will still cost you a bit, but it's only about 10 gold.
Wonderful.
They actually reach over and they like take out a little helmet. It's like a little samurai helmet. They gently put it onto Bean's head and then gently like clip the strap close, and Bean looks to you with the most, confused, shocked expression, and then kind of like just like scratches at it for a second, and just kind of looks around, just like, what's going on? Very confused.
Aurelius has the happiest smile on his face. I don't think Aurelius is kind of geeking out.
Of course.
He has not seen armor in this style in person before.
It's a little something I picked up from some friends I made. Saved my life a while back, and I've tried to emulate some of the style in some of my barding to at least show remembrance.
Awesome. Were they, swordsmen?
Some of the best swordsmen I know. Actually, if you're interested in joining the guard, Fergus is actually one such. I heard he comes from the land itself.
As much as I take the compliment, I don't think I would be good as a god.
I've been a guard before, for like a week.
I'm sure you could hold your own.
It's...
If nothing else, you can at least take the initiation to, or ask if he has any work.
Yes, we were planning to look for work there, but...
Fergus is honestly good for this city. Domnall has been a a better leader since he came around.
Let's get at least. Ah, there was one other thing that I wanted you to outfit, though. This would be with actual armor, if you can. She'll point to Bonkers.
Oh, the McNovice! With what type of armor? You hear Bonkers just, huh? I was like, what? Picking their head in.
Currently, I'm not going to put him in combat, so perhaps just some cloth would be nice. Something that would
to protect him while on the road.
She nods her head.
For a creature that size, it will cost you a bit more. Just,
I suspected.
Are you looking for just some studded, I suppose?
She'll nod her head.
That will run you about 180 gold. 200 if you want it to be stylized.
I'm not going to be able to afford that unless I forgo something else that I'm after.
So I guess between us, we both need work.
She nods her head.
No. As I said, Fergus would be the person to speak to about that. Unless you're looking to do just like odd jobs for a while.
How will we know Fergus when we see him? Besides the, markings of... What's his rank, Captain?
Master of the Guard.
Master of the Guard. Aurelius is trying to remember the engravement that reflects that.
It's remember how I mentioned they all have the mark of the guard on them?
Yeah.
There's a specific insignia that would go behind that. So Master of the Guard would have all of the insignia, effectively.
Yeah. Okay.
Effectively, just a member of the guard has the symbol, which is the scepter in hand, on a red, like a red circle or a red square. A shield design behind it indicates a captain. A sword and shield indicates one above. And a sword, shield, and I'm trying to think of the word for it. I suppose it would just... They call it the arch, but it's effectively a bow behind it. Is master. Some people will have the shield and bow instead of the sword. Those are like a step to the side from the swordsman, but those are more the range archery swords. They're technically a step under the sword and shields.
Mm-hmm.
He's smiling, but it's so clear that it's starting to go over her head. As this is explained.
This isn't explained. This is something that he knows. And actually,
okay.
You have a vague understanding of that because of your time with the Order. Enough that you would be able to recognize who would be of the highest rank.
Yeah.
Actually, no. There was one other thing. It would have the border and then a second border of gold lining around it. Because there are those who have the sword, bow, and shield background who are underneath the master. Sorry, I need to make sure I corrected myself on my notes.
Okay.
Interesting.
So, as Aurelius is thinking that, he kind of asks, should I keep an eye out for a race?
If you can see underneath the helmet, sure.
Oh, yeah, true. Sorry. I forget. Most guards tend to keep their helmets on all the time. Their designs are that's so fascinating. Aurelius just kind of starts mumbling to himself about the armor.
Orc, by the way.
Oh.
Orc?
Yes.
Her little ears perk up.
More of a northern sort, but he's not from the north.
Not from the north?
No.
Interesting. Well,
My interest is piqued.
Yeah. Thank you again for your help. We'll likely be back.
Of course.
Aurelius is like still looking at the squirrel.
Still proud.
Question. Is this your animal?
It's a friend's.
Do you think they would be upset if I picked it up? If it will allow me to.
Excuse me. Okay, calls up to the squirrel, and the squirrel looks down with this look of just, I have been summoned! And then just like, do you mind if she holds you? She's one of those sorts. And the squirrel like looks at you. And it's the most wide-eyed, just staring at you expressions for like just a moment of just lock eyes with you. But like not in the sense of like it's looking at you eyes to eyes, because it's a prey creature. Its eyes are on the side of its head, so it's like one eye is looking at you. And then it kind of shifts and just runs down and just leaps at you suddenly.
You'll catch it.
Kind of like it flails when you catch it, just like it was clearly not expecting that.
Unfortunately, little one, I'm quite quick with my reflexes. But all the same, hello.
It seems to like have initially attempted to try to chew on your finger, as in tried to bite you, and missed.
It's a little...
You startled it.
Ah. I'm so sorry, little one.
It leapt at you and you decided to grab it out of the air.
Well, it leapt at my face and that's a reflex. I'm sorry. She looks at it very apologetically.
It was likely aiming for your shoulder, but you know, I can ask it things and tell it things, but I don't understand it.
I am so sorry, little one. She'll set it down. If you would like, you could try again, and I won't. She'll put her hands behind her back.
It seems to be like almost indignant now, just kind of like swirling about, and it's just like, I just give it a scratch, give it a rub. It'll probably go back to its post in a moment.
She'll pet under its chin.
It accepts, and then makes its way back up to its guard post.
Never heard of a guard squirrel.
It's, as much as you think it wouldn't be all it's cracked up to be, it's also the sort of thing that if you hear a squirrel suddenly chitter and jump up your leg, you are going to make noise.
Yes, I do suppose. Especially if it's in the dark, you'd think it's a rat.
If you're lucky.
Aurelius nods rapidly.
But yes.
I've heard horror stories.
We don't speak too much of those horror stories. I imagine I've heard one or two of them.
I've been one of those horror stories. Fucking Serenity, having tried to fucking make nice with the local squirrels, got attacked by a mob of them.
They swarm over you. They leave nothing in their wake. But I'll say that you two are heading out then?
Yeah.
Yeah. As Aurelius is leaving, he kind of just says, we should probably tell the others that we're looking for work.
Oh, that reminds me. Don, is there a jewelry shop nearby?
Not at the moment. Doesn't seem there does not seem to be a lot of gemstones in the area.
Can I ask them if they know where I could buy a gemstone?
Unfortunately, not in the city currently. They're looking to wait on some of the traders to bring some through.
Stop cucking me, Gaston!
I'm sorry, I rolled for it.
Okay.
Mm.
This is
Would
not me cucking,
Aurelius-
it's the dice cucking.
Would Aurelius be able to specifically look for any places that might do rune engravings? Not because he necessarily wants them, but just to make sure that there are facilities if he decides he wants them.
Bring that up next time. I want to make sure we get to Kendall and Moss.
Alright. Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
Alright,
So we go back to the tavern.
Yep. We'll see. We'll see if you find anything next time. But Elizabeth and Artemis, you guys are heading out.
To the Iron Leaf.
Yep.
Elizabeth is following Artemis's lead at this point.
Wait, you're leaving the tavern?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were
Like
planning on leaving before you guys. Yeah.
And then you left.
Is this what was discussed out of game that y'all were talking about?
No, what I was
No.
what we were expecting didn't happen. So,
Oh, okay, okay.
I already did what I wanted to do.
so did I. But yeah, so
So you head to the Iron Leaf. It takes a little bit to get there. It's a little ways away. But inside, there's a number of bits of like twine and string that are being held on what would normally hold like crystals, almost like chandelier looking things. But at the end of them instead are different bits of almost like thin threads of iron that have been turned and woven into different interesting designs, ranging from a number of leaves that are made of iron to a number of other little things, like there's one of a woman that looks to have like more solid metal bits, and then a dress that is of interwoven iron wiring, effectively. There's one that has a what appears to be some kind of swordsman, like a swordsman statue sort of thing, as well as other, like one that looks like it's like a fist. And a few other various different just images of like a book, of a few different things. Sorry.
You're good.
the last two, the fist and the swordsman, pull Elizabeth's attention as they walk in.
Mm-hmm.
Artemis is gonna walk up to the person behind the counter.
The person behind the counter, at first you hear like a clanking, rummaging sort of sound. You hear this pause, and then just, is someone here? Is that the bell? Oh no. Hold
What's
on.
going on?
Hold
What's
on.
going on?
Hold on.
Oh, that pulls Elizabeth joins Artemis.
Nate,
Do you need some help?
this frazzle-haired, just like sticking in every direction, a very redhead gnome picks their head up, just kind of looking like, kind of got the dizzy, I hit my head expression. Then they hold up a hand like, I'm fine. It's working. I got distracted. Hi. Whoa, you're new people. Hi, I'm Barish. How can I help you?
I was wondering if you sold pearls.
I'm more of a trinket shop than a pearl shop.
What kind of trinkets do you have?
Hold on. I might have gotten something recently. Give me a second. And they head off towards the back.
Well, this is interesting.
These sort of shops usually are. They have to be very careful.
I got a question for him when he gets back because of all these designs. I have just a curiosity of my own.
Kind of just glances at Elizabeth. And looks back over to where he disappeared to.
I felt that look without even having to look at you, Artemis. What's going on?
It's just when you have curiosities, things tend to happen.
I was actually thinking that maybe there was something here I might get myself. That's all.
Alright.
Just don't look at me weird when I describe it to a person if they have it.
I think you're already plenty weird. I look at you weird enough.
It's when I act normal that you gotta worry.
I don't think you know what normal is.
I used to.
Me too. Wait. Just gonna think for a second. I don't think I did. Never mind.
I was gonna say, you normal? Nah.
I thought it was normal.
Yeah, well, I thought this was normal, so, you know.
Let's get a little closer around the store.
I was gonna say, for the DM, would there be something that Elizabeth could roll to see if there's this particular hammer symbol of all these designs that she might be able to find?
What are you looking for? Just make sure I understood that right.
There, because you were talking about all the different designs that were made of iron, if there was one that would look like a particular hammer.
Make an investigation check.
Investigation.
Investigation.
I suck at these.
Investigation.
I suck at these.
Looking it over, there are several hammers. There's actually like a layout of hammers. However, looking them over, they appear to be like blacksmith hammers of different makes, as it were.
Okay.
Meant for actual hammering.
Yeah. Elizabeth will still show an odd interest in looking at hammers.
Artemis doesn't really question what Elizabeth does anymore.
I mean, fair. Yeah?
She's just waiting for the guy to come back.
Yeah, the same with...
It does take him a little bit, but eventually he comes out with a box. He kind of sets it on the table and opens it up and shows that there is a few spherical pearls in there. I haven't woven anything around them yet, but I have them, and I was working to work them into something. Was there a particular design you were looking for?
Oh no, I was looking just for the raw material of pearls. How much do these cost each?
They look very confused. This one here is worth ranging up around 20 gold. It's one of the smaller ones. He's picking them up and showing you them. This one right here is worth about 40 gold. I think this one is as well. I imagine you're trying to look for a smaller piece? Kind of looks, very confused.
Actually, I was looking for a larger one.
Most of them are, biggest one I have. It's one that's about the size of like a jawbreaker. I'd say it's about, I'll sell it to you for 120 gold.
Okay, I'll take that one.
Again, very confused, like, why are you buying just the pearl? I have all these other things, but he will take the 120 gold and give you the pearl.
I have a small question for you.
Hey?
Do you do custom designs?
I can.
I have a particular design that I think I'm going to start wearing or wanting to show off a bit. And I'm wondering if you can help.
What design?
Knowing that it's just the three of them in the shop?
Yeah.
Okay. Elizabeth takes her scarf off and moves the collar of her shirt to show a hammer brand near her collarbone.
I kind of lean forward and look at it. Oh.
Think you can do something like this?
Easily. I can have it done pretty quick. We can talk more when you come pick it up.
Got a time frame?
With how simple that one is compared to some of the others I've had of people trying to ask me to weave up an image of their wife, I think I can probably have that done before sundown.
You'll
Easily.
see me again then.
Good. I look forward to seeing you.
She'll put her collar back in place and put her scarf back on.
Artemis has tucked the pearl into her pocket. Just kind of starts looking around the shop actively now. Now that she has what she wants. Just perusing.
It's very pretty. There's one that looks to have like wire bits of like birds ranging from what you would presume to be like a robin to a sparrow, stuff like that.
How much for the fist?
For the fist?
The fist, yeah.
Gold piece.
Consider it sold.
Alright. You'll take the gold piece and you have an iron woven fist.
I'll pick it up when I come back for the other thing, though.
Alright, I'll set it to the side.
Deal. Anything matching your fancy, Artie?
Oh, I have what I'd like.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll see you later today.
Alright.
Shall we head back to the tavern?
Yes. And just gonna walk back a little slower, just looking at everything in the town.
It is honestly a spectacle of industry. There's almost an underlying rhythm to it, but it's like one of those, like, you're hearing the rhythm because you're kind of putting a rhythm to it. And there's not a comfort to it, but a familiarity that kind of lets you almost slide into old habits. Almost.
Elizabeth might notice that Artemis is walking a a little straighter. It's almost like a march. And she doesn't really realize that she slipped into it. There's a roll to her step. Her shoulders are back. Chin's tilted up. But she's still just looking at everything, taking it in.
Almost in suit, you'll notice that Elizabeth's walk at this point, seeing Artemis change her walk, has changed hers as well. To one almost kind of looking like a guard, bodyguard walking next to her.
Are there any posters on the walls?
Good question, actually.
I'll say eventually you'll find a place where there would be posters of the type you're looking for. Make an investigation check.
Would Elizabeth be able to do that too?
You're there.
Okay. Let's see this one if it works.
$15.
There's a few different bounties on the board for various different things, ranging from theft to arson to
Puddles.
There's a few counts of murder and things of that nature. And there's one thing that both of you note. There is a spot where there was clearly a poster at one point, and in place of it, there is a burnt handprint.
Oh!
Artemis is going to take a couple steps closer to it and just kind of daintily touch the handprint. There's just barely a smile on her face.
And that is where we're going to end the session.
Perfect way to end it. Perfect way to end it.
Damn it! Why'd you bring the Dark Brotherhood into this?
Hey!
Oh my god!
It's not on a piece of paper saying "we know."
Mm-hmm.
If it's on a piece of paper saying "we know," then you're in trouble. This is a burnt handprint on a board.
Mm-hmm.
That says
saying
nothing.
we might know.
We could know.
I know who it is.
That's why I started reacting when he said the burnt handprint. I'm like, oh!
I don't know.
You'll find out.
You'll find out.
You'll find
You'll
out.
find out.
Trust me, it'll be weird.
It's the same way that
Excited.
Kendall knew about something for mine. Oh, I know about something for her.
Little
feels
details.
so left out of the loop.
That's okay. That's half the party. That means half of you will be surprised when it happens.
Yep.
Just like Davy all over again.
It's like Davy all over again. Some people going, "Who's Davy?" and everyone's going, "Davy." But yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I always look forward to these.
Oh yeah,
You guys are absolute chaos.
that we are.
Vagabonds and delights in the same sentence and breath.
Wrap up the episode so I can start talking about it.
I'm doing it right now. Thank you all so much for watching. If you were watching this on YouTube, we stream these on Mondays on twitch.tv/WhatTeamComp. Trying to start around 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Generally, it's between 8 to 8:30, but we're trying to get within that time frame more often. If you are watching this on Twitch, we post these on YouTube. That's at Uncommon Guru. That's my channel. Most of these fantastic people actually have TikToks that they do stuff on. I will try to remember to link those later, because I've been meaning to do that, and I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
That's my bad, though. But yeah.
Other unrelated news. Next week on Monday, I'll probably be streaming Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance for the memes. If anyone wants to see that.
Hell yeah. Will that be after the session or before?
His Monday.
His Monday. Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
No,
Time
Our
zones.
Sunday.
He's in Australia, so he's
Sorry.
on Sunday,
Yeah.
Monday, he'll be streaming Metal Gear Rising. That'll be fun. Your channel is
Zarklets.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
We hope to see you here or see you there. And until next time, we have been WhatTeamComp, and we will see you all next time. Bye bye.